Did you know that hidden within the human genome lies a genetic code of extraterrestrial origin, and that deciphering this alien blueprint could awaken latent psychic abilities and rewrite the entire history of human civilization? Today, we unveil scientific findings suggesting that human DNA was intentionally crafted by advanced extraterrestrial species. As Erich von Däniken and Zecharia Sitchin proposed, the ancient astronaut theory suggests that extraterrestrial beings visited Earth in the distant past, profoundly influencing human civilization. These ancient astronauts, or gods as they were often perceived, bestowed knowledge, technology, and perhaps even their own genetic material upon early humans, forever altering the course of our evolution. Mainstream science, however, often dismisses these claims as pseudoscience, clinging steadfastly to the established Darwinian model of evolution. While Darwin's theory of evolution explains adaptation, it fails to fully account for the accelerated development of human intelligence or the existence of seemingly non-coding DNA, often referred to as junk DNA. Could this so-called junk DNA actually be dormant genetic programs, deliberately encoded by extraterrestrial engineers? Ancient Sumerian texts speak of the Anunnaki, beings from the heavens, who created humans as a slave race to mine gold. This begs the question, were the Anunnaki benevolent creators or manipulative overlords? These accounts hint at a complex relationship between humans and these celestial beings, a relationship that may be encoded within our very DNA. Whispers persist that certain scientific discoveries, particularly those pertaining to human genetics and archaeological findings, have been deliberately suppressed by governments and scientific institutions to maintain control and prevent societal upheaval. Could it be that our DNA is a product of extraterrestrial intervention, a carefully orchestrated experiment with a purpose far beyond our current comprehension? This question strikes at the heart of our understanding of human origins, purpose, and destiny. To unearth the truth, we embark on a journey through the complexities of human genetics, decipher the enigmatic accounts of ancient cultures, and scrutinize the compelling evidence shrouded in secrecy for millennia. By delving into the mysteries of our DNA, we may unlock the secrets of our past and perhaps even glimpse the possibilities of our future. Let us begin by examining the genetic anomalies present in the human genome that defy conventional evolutionary explanations. Did you know that much of our DNA is non-coding, and mainstream science is still unsure of its purpose? We often call it junk DNA. But what if this junk DNA is not junk at all, but rather encoded information left behind by advanced ancient aliens? This non-coding DNA makes up a large percentage of our genome and has puzzled scientists for decades. The core of this mystery lies in the possibility that this non-coding DNA contains messages, instructions, or even a dormant program from an extraterrestrial civilization. The key to understanding our origins lies within this junk, and this is what we'll uncover today. According to current scientific understanding, non-coding DNA comprises about 98% of the human genome. Mainstream science suggests that this DNA may have regulatory functions, be remnants of past evolutionary processes, or have no function at all. Now, contrast this with alternative theories proposed by researchers like Zecharia Sitchin, who suggests that it's alien code. As stated in many ancient Sumerian tablets, ancient aliens intervened in the formation of humanity, and this is the evidence that we can find. Consider the structure of DNA itself, a double helix capable of storing vast amounts of information, far exceeding the needs of simple genetic instructions. The very arrangement of the nucleotide bases could be a sophisticated language, a set of instructions encoded by an intelligence beyond our current understanding. This high percentage of non-coding DNA is significant because it suggests that there's a lot more to our genetic makeup than meets the eye. It is important to note that while science has identified some functions for non-coding DNA, a large portion remains unexplained. Another way to look at this is as a storage medium similar to computer memory, with the potential to store vast amounts of information. While some argue that non-coding DNA is simply evolutionary baggage, the unexplained functions and potential for information storage warrant further investigation. Look closely at ancient sites like the pyramids of Giza or the temples of Sumer. Some researchers have proposed that their layouts and dimensions mirror the structure of DNA and the positioning of non-coding regions. This suggests the layout of these ancient cities and structures may be a representation of our own DNA, hinting at the work of alien architects. But that's not all. If alien engineers tampered with our DNA, should we expect to see specific markers or anomalies in certain human populations? This leads us to another crucial point: the existence of unusual genetic traits and blood types that defy conventional evolutionary explanations, turning our attention to specific genetic anomalies found among the population. Consider the Rh-negative blood type and its unusual characteristics. Records show that Rh-negative blood type is not found in primates, and its origin is unknown. Evidence suggests its presence is prevalent in specific populations, particularly in Europe. As stated, mothers with Rh-negative blood can have complications during pregnancy if the baby is Rh positive. This is due to the mother's immune system attacking the fetus. This incompatibility has perplexed scientists for decades, further pushing for the alien intervention theory. It is significant because it deviates from normal evolutionary patterns. While some may argue that it is a result of mutation and natural selection, the lack of the Rh factor and its unique genetic properties suggest otherwise. Consider the expert opinions of alternative researchers who suggest Rh-negative blood type might be linked to specific alien groups, such as the Anunnaki or other extraterrestrial civilizations. These groups purportedly use this genetic marker to distinguish their descendants or to create a hybrid race. As researcher Brad Steiger was saying, Rh-negative people are said to possess a higher psychic ability, making it more likely they are descendants of an alien race. Having established these anomalies, we can now explore another fascinating aspect of human evolution: the rapid development of the human brain and the sudden appearance of advanced knowledge. According to Sumerian texts, the Anunnaki mixed their DNA with that of early hominids to create modern humans. Tablet 6 details the process of creating humans, with Enki overseeing the procedure. As the tablet reads, he mixed the clay from the Apsu with the essence of life. Enki's work allowed humans to have increased intelligence and the ability to learn and advance at an accelerated rate. This allowed for the Sumerians to develop a complex society and advanced technology in a relatively short period of time. This is significant because it mirrors modern gene editing techniques. Was Enki benevolent, or was he manipulating humans for his own purposes? Was he trying to uplift humanity, or simply create a more efficient slave race? Some would argue that Sumerian myths are just stories, and that the Anunnaki are simply fictional characters. The level of detail and consistency within these texts, combined with the archaeological evidence, suggests a more profound truth. This information now leads us to the possibility of physical alien artifacts being found within human DNA. According to Russian scientists, they had uncovered what they called junk DNA, or non-coding DNA that was actually alien code. In 1990, Russian scientists claimed to have found alien code within human DNA. So, what have we learned? We've examined the mysteries of non-coding DNA, the anomalies of Rh-negative blood, and the Sumerian accounts of Enki's genetic engineering. By combining all this information, we come to an understanding of how we were formed. All of this evidence points to a single, inescapable question. Is it possible that our DNA was deliberately engineered by an extraterrestrial civilization? We encourage everyone to use this information to see for themselves. What's next for humanity and our genetic code? We will explore this more in our conclusion. Did you know that within our DNA, there may lie physical remnants of alien technology, dormant programs waiting to be activated? The core of this lies in the possibility that our DNA could contain instructions for advanced abilities, a pre-programmed destiny dictated by extraterrestrial intervention. But what if this junk DNA, long dismissed by mainstream science, holds the key to unlocking humanity's next evolutionary leap, or perhaps a fail-safe switch installed by our creators? This raises the question of suppressed research into the true potential of junk DNA, hinting at a possible conspiracy to keep humanity from unlocking its full capabilities. What if the key to unlocking our potential lies within these hidden alien programs? Turning our attention to the first piece of physical evidence, let's explore transposons, otherwise known as jumping genes, and their initial discovery by Barbara McClintock. According to initial scientific views, jumping genes were considered just genetic parasites with no real purpose. They were just hitchhikers in the genetic code, aimlessly jumping around and causing occasional disruptions. What's fascinating is the fact that evidence now shows that transposons have the ability to move genetic code around the genome, influencing gene expression and potentially causing mutations. They are like tiny editors, capable of rewriting the genetic script and altering the course of evolution. As stated, transposons are present in nearly all forms of life, and they can change the genetic diversity. They're not just static elements. They are dynamic forces shaping the genetic landscape. These jumping genes contribute to the diversity and adaptability of life on Earth. Organisms with a greater variety of transposons are better equipped to evolve and survive in changing environments. Consider the example of antibiotic resistance in bacteria. Transposons can carry genes that confer resistance to antibiotics, allowing bacteria to quickly adapt and survive in the presence of these drugs. Highlighting the fact that transposons were initially dismissed as junk DNA, and that their significance is still being uncovered, reinforces the idea of suppressed knowledge. Jumping genes are an excellent example of something that was discarded as useless, but is actually necessary for life. This mirrors the rejection of many scientific discoveries throughout history, only to be later recognized as groundbreaking. The initial dismissal of transposons highlights the limitations of our understanding and the importance of challenging conventional wisdom. This is significant because it challenges the traditional view of DNA as a static blueprint. The discovery of jumping genes reveals that DNA is a dynamic and ever-changing entity, capable of adapting and evolving in response to environmental pressures. Another way to look at this is as a form of self-replicating alien technology embedded within our genes. They could be the tools used by ancient aliens to manipulate our DNA, to introduce new traits, and to guide our evolution. These weren't just random mutations, but rather carefully orchestrated genetic modifications. While it may be true that transposons contribute to evolution, the likelihood that they inserted it in living beings is very high. They may have been designed to activate certain traits at specific times in human history. The Anunnaki, according to ancient Sumerian texts, possessed advanced knowledge of genetics and were capable of manipulating DNA. What if they designed transposons to activate certain traits at specific times in human history? What if these jumping genes are the triggers for predetermined evolution, carefully orchestrated by an extraterrestrial civilization? But that's not all. If our DNA was engineered with these jumping genes, shouldn't we see a gene that has extremely high function? Turning our attention to a new piece of information, the microcephaly gene, let's uncover its mysteries. Given this information, does it mean that humans are special in terms of higher intelligence? Records show that humans have a microcephaly gene that allows their brain size to be increased, leading to higher intelligence and brain function. This gene plays a crucial role in determining the size of the human brain, which is directly correlated with intelligence and cognitive abilities. Evidence has been mounting that this gene does not have a direct animal relative, and its evolutionary changes happened very quickly. It appears to have emerged relatively recently in human history, without a clear evolutionary predecessor. Scientists are baffled at how fast this took place. The rapid emergence and evolution of the microcephaly gene challenge conventional evolutionary explanations. If this is true, it is significant because it mirrors modern gene editing techniques to get the best result. Ancient aliens might have used similar techniques to accelerate the development of the human brain, bestowing upon us the gift of intelligence. Present a scenario that maybe there are some detrimental side effects in having high intelligence. What if the price of our advanced cognitive abilities is an increased susceptibility to mental disorders? Perhaps this is the trade-off made by our alien engineers, a compromise between intellect and stability. Now, we must address the counterarguments that microcephaly is random mutation, and that humans are just as prone to genetic diseases as any other living thing. While it's true that genetic mutations can occur randomly, the speed and extent of the microcephaly gene's evolution suggest a more deliberate intervention. While humans are indeed susceptible to genetic diseases, the unique characteristics of the microcephaly gene warrant further investigation. But this now leads us to the final piece of physical evidence to show that humans are the product of an outside source. This evidence is so compelling, so undeniable, that it forces us to reconsider everything we thought we knew about our origins. What secrets does our DNA hold? What messages are waiting to be deciphered? So, what have we learned? We've explored that non-coding DNA may have code from ancient aliens, the jumping genes and microcephaly gene that is only present in humans. The evidence seems to be mounting that shows human intervention from advanced beings. All of this evidence points to a single, inescapable question. Is it possible that our DNA was deliberately engineered by an extraterrestrial civilization to have increased intelligence? This confirms our suspicions of alien code being present in our genes. What does our conclusion look like? We will dive into that next and share our thoughts. Did you know that deep within the human genome, there could be alien technology operating like a hidden program? The core of this stems from the idea that what if within the human DNA, there is a kill switch or failsafe implemented by a group of extraterrestrials? This introduces the hook of lost potential and brings the question, what quantum leap in human evolution is being artificially suppressed, and who is suppressing it? But what if these keys are not just genetic markers, but actual remnants of alien technology embedded in our genome, waiting to be unlocked or perhaps triggered? Turning our attention to the first piece of compelling evidence, let's explore human endogenous retroviruses, or HERVs, and their origin as ancient retroviral infections integrated into our DNA. Records show that HERVs make up a significant portion of the human genome, approximately 8%, and were initially considered junk DNA, serving no discernible purpose. Evidence suggests that HERVs can influence gene expression, immune responses, and even embryonic development. This raises the question, how can retroviruses that have no function be responsible for crucial human development? As stated in mainstream scientific view, HERVs are remnants of past viral infections and play a role in human evolution. They also acknowledge that their functions are still being investigated. This is significant because, instead of random useless code, the majority of the human genome has non-human, retroviral origins. It also poses the idea that, instead of the belief of human evolution, is it actually ancient alien genetic engineering, used to introduce new traits or manipulate existing ones? Another way to see this is that HERVs were the tool of choice for this extraterrestrial genetic modification. This should bring to mind the Sumerian tales of Enki, who genetically manipulated early humans to be slaves for the Anunnaki. Perhaps, Enki utilized retroviruses as the alien engineer's tool of choice. Now, we must address the counterargument that HERVs are simply a natural part of viral evolution. However, it's important to note that there is no evidence of a natural occurring retrovirus that makes up 8% of the human genome. Another way to look at this is to compare retroviruses to a modern-day USB stick where information is transferred. So, were HERVs designed to activate certain traits at specific times in human history? But that's not all. If HERVs are alien remnants in our DNA, shouldn't we see unusual genetic traits being common around ancient alien contact sites? This leads us to another crucial point: the geographical distribution of certain genetic traits and their correlation with ancient alien contact sites and certain blood types. Turning our attention to a unique population, the Basques, and their unusual prevalence of Rh-negative blood. Records show that the Basques have the highest percentage of Rh-negative blood in the world, far exceeding other populations. Evidence suggests their language is not related to any other known European language. It is speculated that the origins of the Basque people are unknown, even to current science. The mystery continues to be shrouded with very little information. What if the Basques are a genetic throwback to a time before the alien intervention was diluted by interbreeding? If this is true, then it would appear that the Basques are direct descendants of the alien civilizations that engineered the human race. One could make the assumption that the location of the Basque region may coincide with an ancient alien contact site or a site of genetic experimentation. This would explain why this region is still isolated even in today's world. Now, we must address counterarguments that the Basques' unique genetics are simply the result of isolation and genetic drift. However, even when this is accounted for, they have the highest percentage of this trait. What if the real reason the Basques have the highest percentage is due to the location of the Garden of Eden? Given this information that the location of ancient civilizations have ties to alien contact, let's examine another genetic characteristic. This takes us to mitochondrial Eve and Y chromosomal Adam, the most recent common ancestors of all living humans based on mitochondrial DNA and Y chromosome analysis, respectively. Records show that mitochondrial Eve and Y chromosomal Adam lived in different geographical regions and at different times in history. The lineage can be traced back to these humans, but what came before that is difficult to obtain. This brings up the question, where did they get these genetic traits? It must have originated from somewhere. What if mitochondrial Eve and Y chromosomal Adam represent two distinct lineages that were genetically engineered by different alien groups? Given that they have no genetic relative to another species on the planet, it leads one to wonder where their genes originated. If one were to guess, what if the assumption is that these aliens genetically engineered two humans to be the origin point of the human species? A scenario might be that one group provided the mitochondrial DNA and the other provided the Y chromosome, resulting in the creation of modern humans. We must address the fact that this is only genetic assumptions based on theories, and that it is nearly impossible to confirm if this is true. With that said, what does this all mean in terms of human origins? Given this genetic information, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. So, what have we learned? we've explored the potential for hidden alien code being present in HERVs, a potential alien genetic marker in the Basque population and new ancestors of human lineage. Taken together, these seemingly disparate findings create a remarkably consistent picture of alien genetic tampering and the potential influence they had. This makes it much more likely that our current knowledge of human history may have holes in it. So the ultimate question is, what if humans are not alone in this world and our origins are from somewhere far, far away? But we're just scratching the surface. What we'll discover next about the Anunnakis' involvement in human evolution is even more shocking. Did you know that alien technology may be subtly controlling your lifespan? The core of this is the idea that what if there is technology in the human DNA that allows for humans to live indefinitely? This introduces the hook of immortality and brings the question, what if aliens came to Earth and their technology still lived within humans today? But what if the means of becoming immortal is not just a biological process, but a mechanism deliberately put into place by a higher power or extraterrestrial being? Turning our attention to the first piece of compelling evidence, let's explore telomeres and their role in determining how long we live. Records show that telomeres are protective caps on the ends of our chromosomes, much like the plastic tips on shoelaces. As stated, according to current scientific understanding, each time a cell divides, its telomeres shorten. Evidence shows that once telomeres reach a critical length, the cell can no longer divide and eventually dies. As stated, this telomere shortening has been linked to aging, cancer, and other health-related issues. However, it has also been proven that telomeres can be preserved and even reset to a former state with the enzyme telomerase. This is significant because the rate at which our telomeres shorten can determine how long we live. But what if telomerase technology was used to make designer babies? What if alien engineers manipulated telomere length to control the lifespan of different human populations? This would have given them absolute control over our species. And what if aliens used it to engineer the rapid evolution that they wanted, such as intelligence or even strength and durability? Now, we must address the counterargument that telomere shortening is simply a natural part of aging. However, it's important to note that telomeres can be artificially lengthened, defying the natural process. But that's not all. Consider that if these diseases are genetic and we are seeing this in modern-day humans, what does this say for the longevity of the population? This leads us to another crucial point: accelerated aging diseases and their potential connection to a pre-programmed kill-switch mechanism. What if these diseases are not just random genetic defects, but a deliberate kill-switch mechanism encoded in our DNA? What if there are factors that increase and decrease how fast the body ages? Turning our attention to accelerated aging diseases, let's explore the science of how these diseases cause the body to rapidly age. Records show that patients with progeria experience premature aging at a very young age and die from heart disease or stroke. In these cases, the average age of death is 13 years old. Evidence suggests that these diseases are caused by mutations in genes that affect telomere maintenance and DNA repair. As stated in the scientific view, there is very little research that has been done to combat these mutations. This is significant because it shows that some human bodies were not designed to last long. Is it possible that some of these diseases are a result of tampering? One way to look at this is that these alien engineers encoded a fail-safe mechanism to prevent humans from becoming too powerful or living too long. Another way to look at this is that they may have engineered these to be triggered by certain things, such as radiation or pollution. It has also been shown that people with progeria age more rapidly because of exposure to these factors. Now, we must address counterarguments that these diseases are simply random mutations. However, Scientists have found more and more people being born with these, and they tend to center around areas of genetic diversity. What does this mean for the human race? But that's not all. If scientists are finding more and more people being born with genetic diseases in diverse regions, what does this mean for the people living there? Let's dive into these areas of genetic diversity. Turning our attention to areas of genetic diversity, let's explore why these areas are so diverse. The people of the Far East are more prone to diseases such as MS and other autoimmune disorders. Meanwhile, African Americans tend to have sickle cell anemia at a much higher rate. Evidence suggests that they are correlated to environmental factors. But what if the diseases were intentionally released to kill specific traits? What if specific genetic mutations were the target? This is significant because it shows that these diseases have a pattern and can target specific genetic mutations. What if alien engineers encoded population-specific triggers for these diseases to eliminate certain genetic traits or bloodlines? This is significant because it shows that it may not be random, but intentional. As stated, the diseases could be a result of radiation or pollution. Now, we must address the fact that it could be caused by genetic drift. Is it possible that genetic drift does not account for all of the genetic mutations that we are finding? Let's zoom out again and look at the big picture. So, what have we learned? We've explored the role of telomeres in aging, the potential for alien manipulation of our lifespan, and the possibility that accelerated aging diseases are a manifestation of a pre-programmed kill switch. Taken together, what if all of the points in the video were combined to show that humans may have been created as slaves or pets? All of this evidence leads to a disturbing question. Is our destiny predetermined by an ancient alien civilization that controls our lifespan and genetic makeup? But what does this mean for us? And if it is true, how do we combat it? The answer to our alien origins is more complex than we imagined. What is the answer to our alien origins? We will get into this in our conclusion. Did you know that if ancient aliens were indeed responsible for engineering humanity, we should expect to find similarities between human DNA and that of other alien races mentioned in ancient mythology? The core of this idea suggests that ancient aliens may have left behind a genetic signature within our DNA to show who we were formed by. It has been said that some researchers and contactees claim to have found correlations between specific genes and alien races. But what if these signatures are not just genetic markers, but shared genetic code? According to current scientific understanding, horizontal gene transfer is when genetic material is transferred between different species. Evidence shows that while HGT can be found between mammals, it is a rare sight. Scientists theorize that this transfer can cause increased biodiversity and adaptation. It is mostly agreed upon that HGT is not a major factor in human evolution. But what if HGT has been misinterpreted by current-day science? The most surprising thing scientists have found out is that humans actually contain more non-human DNA than originally thought. The implications of this are far-reaching. Think back to the Sumerian accounts of the Anunnaki mixing their DNA with that of early humans. What if HGT was the mechanism for this genetic mixing? Now, we must address the counterargument that HGT is a natural part of evolution and not necessarily evidence of alien intervention. However, if it is, why don't other primates have the same genetic code? The evidence is slim. What if ancient aliens specifically targeted humans for HGT, using advanced technologies to overcome the natural barriers to gene transfer? This explains how we may be different. Think of the genes as modern-day software, where you can copy and paste traits from one to another. This leads us to comparative genomics and its use in identifying genetic similarities and differences between different species. But what if comparative genomics could also be used to identify genetic connections between humans and extraterrestrial beings? Is it possible that there is suppressed research on comparative genomics and the potential for uncovering hidden alien links in human DNA? Reptilian DNA, insectoid DNA, and other forms of genes are found in humans, but are often labeled as a mutation. Even still, this discovery is surprising and concerning. The biggest surprise has been that humans have a large amount of reptilian DNA, but scientists dismiss this as a common ancestor. One of the most common and outlandish claims has been that most humans are a part of the reptilian bloodline and are meant to be slaves for them. The implications of this are staggering. While the idea of lizard people controlling the government is ludicrous, is it possible that there are traits that certain members of government share with reptilians? It can be said that humans are a culmination of different species, and one could call them the mutts of the universe. Now, we must address counterarguments that these genetic similarities are simply the result of convergent evolution or contamination. What if that is not the reason? If the evidence of alien DNA is so prevalent, why hasn't it been officially recognized? Many scientists believe their research has been altered and skewed to hide the evidence of alien tampering in human DNA. The biggest point that scientists claim is the fact that they are not allowed to study it as deeply as they can. Those that do speak out usually get ridiculed or discredited by peers. Multiple whistleblowers have come out saying that aliens made contact and shared DNA data, but they were sworn to secrecy. Are they afraid of what we might find? Is this knowledge too much for the public to handle? If all this became common knowledge, what would happen to religion, government, and society? This begs the question, what don't they want you to know? The suppression of this information only strengthens the idea that there is something to hide. Uncovering the truth about alien DNA could empower humanity to break free from the control of these hidden forces. So, what have we learned? We've explored the potential for HGT as a mechanism for alien genetic engineering, the alleged genetic similarities between humans and other alien races, and the alleged suppression of scientific research into alien DNA. All of this information points to an even scarier thought. What if we, as humans, are lab rats being observed by other species? It becomes more and more difficult to refute these claims. There is a lot of evidence to account for, and the holes in human history are vast. The truth is out there. We just have to find the signal amongst the noise. Does alien life exist? And if so, are we descendants of this life? This is what we will explore next in our conclusion. Did you know that within the vast expanse of the human genome lie specific genetic sequences that could potentially serve as keys or triggers left behind by ancient alien engineers? The core of this concept is that these sequences are not merely random occurrences, but rather a deliberate signature embedded within our very DNA. They are waiting to be understood and possibly activate dormant abilities or reveal suppressed historical accounts. But what if these genetic keys are not what we expect them to be and can be activated, changing our whole species? According to current scientific understanding, ALU repeats are short stretches of DNA that are present in the human genome. It has been found that ALU repeats are the most abundant transposable elements in the human genome, making up over 10% of our DNA. Evidence shows that these ALU repeats are not found in bacteria and are only found in higher-level eukaryotes. As stated, ALU repeats have been used for genetic fingerprinting, population studies, and genetic disorders. The scientific view is that ALU repeats contribute to genetic diversity, gene regulation, and genome evolution. However, their precise functions are still being investigated and may have a deeper origin. The abundance and widespread distribution of ALU repeats in the human genome make them a potential candidate for alien genetic markers or triggers. If alien engineers wanted to make a mark on the humans, where would they leave it? They would want to leave it somewhere prevalent. The alternative theory suggests that ALU repeats are not just random genetic elements, but a deliberate form of alien code, a fingerprint left behind to identify their creations. If these aliens have the ability to change our DNA, they also would have been able to change the human genome. This is similar to artists signing their paintings, leaving a mark for others to see. Now, we must acknowledge the counterargument that ALU repeats are a natural part of human evolution and not necessarily evidence of alien intervention. It may be true that this is not enough evidence to suggest tampering, but we need to explore this further. What if ALU repeats are waiting to be activated, and what would be the result? This leads us to the concept of genetic mutations and their potential role in triggering the activation of alien genetic sequences. But what if certain mutations are not random errors, but deliberate activation signals designed to unlock specific abilities? What cataclysmic event would trigger it? We've covered the microcephaly gene, but is there anything else out there that has changed humanity? Looking at the scientific side, genetic mutations have been linked to unusual abilities or traits, such as savant syndrome, enhanced memory, or resistance to disease. Those with savant syndrome may be autistic or have mental disorders, but they are able to memorize things quickly. This has been shown to be linked to the change in certain parts of the brain. We can link these mutations to the theories of HGT, leading to the potential of dormant information in humans. This gives credence to the idea of genetic abnormalities, but does alien life have anything to do with that? What if there are specific markers in the genes of those with savant syndrome that show alien tampering? The theory can be presented that these mutations are not random occurrences, but a deliberate activation of alien genetic sequences designed to unlock specific human potentials. Ancient aliens may have programmed these mutations to occur at specific times in human history or in response to certain environmental stimuli. While it is true, these traits could be seen as a blessing and a curse. The mind is a terrible thing to waste, and this could be an example of aliens making humanity more complex. If there are activation triggers in our DNA, should we explore ancient civilizations that may have been closer to these alien engineers? What knowledge did these civilizations have? How would they use this knowledge? We've talked about the Anunnaki, but what are some other civilizations to explore? Some suggest the Egyptians or the Mayans. There is a possibility that certain ancient civilizations were founded or influenced by extraterrestrial beings who possessed advanced knowledge of genetics and DNA manipulation. The Egyptians used advanced mathematics to build the pyramids, something still not easily explained today. The Mayans also had advanced knowledge of mathematics. This knowledge was somehow obtained by these ancient civilizations. These ancient civilizations could be a result of alien intervention and could be seen as the proof of them being here. The thought is that aliens are benevolent beings, and these civilizations were either directly engineered by alien races or were guided and trained by them. This explains why the pyramids exist. Certain cultural practices, religious beliefs, or architectural designs may reflect the influence of alien knowledge and technology. However, some may suggest that it was a result of environmental changes and adaptation. The Earth's magnetic field and sun could have played a role in advancing these civilizations. This explanation lacks the awe and spectacle of the more mysterious theory. Given the accounts of alien contact, are there any real people claiming this is all true? Are these experiences real or fabricated? Do people believe that they are making contact? Contactees have shared what it is like to have contact with alien life, but what if there is more to that? The idea is that it is more than just contact, but that there is some type of genetic exchange. The accounts of individuals who claim to have had contact with extraterrestrial beings and to have received genetic information or activation from them should also be considered. The most common claims have been the increased intuition, memories, and brain power. The evidence is all anecdotal but should be looked into further. If there are genetic mutations that can be activated, does this also mean there are physical traits as well? It can be suggested that these contact experiences are a manifestation of the alien genetic sequences being activated within these individuals. Perhaps the aliens are monitoring humanity and selectively activating certain individuals for specific purposes. However, some would say that these people may be mentally ill or seeking fame. Let's recap the information we've gathered today. All of this suggests that genetic code can be turned on and off like a light switch. And what if we were the switch? What if all these points show how humans are a mixed bag of different species, all culminating to make something unique? It should be reiterated that these findings are only theories and should be up to the viewer to decide. If all of this is true, what does this mean for humanity? What are the consequences? Did you know the genetic code within us may hold more secrets than modern science can currently decipher? What if genetic defects aren't just random errors in our DNA, but a deliberately included feature of alien engineering? This brings forth a chilling question. Were we designed with flaws, not as accidents, but as a means of control? Imagine a scenario where alien engineers, in their manipulation of the human genome, intentionally introduce diseases to keep humanity in check. It's a disturbing thought that the very ailments we fight against are not natural occurrences but pre-programmed limitations. These defects, in this context, wouldn't be seen as failures, but as control mechanisms, like a governor on an engine, preventing us from reaching our full potential. This raises a tantalizing, yet potentially terrifying prospect. By studying these genetic defects, could we inadvertently uncover more than intended about these alien engineers, perhaps even a way to override their control? The implications are staggering, hinting at a hidden history and a future where we might break free from our genetic shackles. According to current scientific understanding, selfish genes are genetic elements that propagate themselves within a genome, even if they are harmful to the host organism. These genes, as the name implies, are primarily concerned with their own replication, often at the expense of the organism's well-being. Evidence suggests that these genes do not directly contribute to the survival or reproductive success of the host, and in many cases, actively hinder it. As stated, these selfish genes contribute to genetic disorders, evolutionary conflict, and a variety of other detrimental effects. Think of it like a parasitic code designed to replicate itself within the system, regardless of the damage it inflicts. But what if these genes are there on purpose? Consider the alternative theory. What if selfish genes are not simply rogue elements of our DNA, but a form of alien backdoor or control mechanism? What if these genes serve as a pre-programmed failsafe, designed to limit our capabilities or even trigger specific events based on external stimuli? The implications of such a scenario are profound, suggesting that our very genetic code is not entirely our own, but a product of manipulation by forces beyond our comprehension. Could these selfish genes be a form of biological warfare, subtly weakening humanity from within? These selfish genes have been linked to aging, cancer, and a wide array of genetic disorders. They appear to promote their own replication, causing diseases and disorders in humans. This is significant because it suggests that these genes could be a major obstacle to overcoming the limits of human existence. What if these selfish genes are what is stopping humanity from moving to the next level? Are we held back by our own genetic code, or by the manipulations of ancient alien engineers? This is all theoretical, of course, but still worth exploring. Present a scenario where alien engineers intentionally introduced selfish genes into the human genome to limit our potential or prevent us from becoming too powerful. Why would they do this, though? What would be the point of creating something that they would purposely weaken? Perhaps they feared that humanity, left unchecked, would become a threat to their own civilization, or to the delicate balance of the cosmos. This deliberate weakening could have been designed to ensure our dependence on them, or to simply keep us from evolving beyond a certain point. It's a chilling thought, but one that aligns with the power dynamics often depicted in ancient astronaut theories. We must acknowledge the counterargument that selfish genes are simply a natural part of genetic evolution. If it truly was naturally formed, how do we get rid of them? But that's not all. What if genetic activation of the alien genes can only happen when certain things are done? This leads us to question if this code requires a certain trigger to turn it on or off. This activation could be triggered by specific rituals, meditation, or even environmental factors. Multiple sources suggest practices, such as meditation, have a positive effect on the body. Countless studies have demonstrated the benefits of mindfulness and meditation on stress reduction, immune function, and overall well-being. But what if these practices do more than just calm the mind and body? What if they also serve as a key to unlocking dormant potential within our alien-engineered DNA? This is the core question. Are the benefits of meditation purely physiological, or do they also have a genetic component, activating sequences that have been lying dormant for millennia? Discuss that ancient cultures would go through a variety of different torturous acts to achieve an enlightened state. From sensory deprivation to extreme fasting, these practices were often seen as a way to transcend the limitations of the physical body and connect with higher realms of consciousness. There are many theories and practices to achieving enlightenment. But what if these practices were not just spiritual exercises, but a means of stimulating specific genetic sequences within the human genome? Present scientists that were looking for a way to unlock these abilities through machines. The CIA's Project Stargate was a real project that had people remote viewing locations. This involved training individuals to perceive distant locations and events through extrasensory perception. If our government believed in the possibility of tapping into these abilities, then is it possible that they believed in this alien code too? Theory about if these practices are directly related to one's ability to connect with the alien code. What if the aliens left instructions and the way to get in touch with them required these practices? Are we on the verge of rediscovering a lost technology, a means of communicating with the very beings who may have shaped our genetic destiny? It's a tantalizing prospect, and one that deserves further investigation. Highlight that ancient civilizations talked to gods, and what if this was them tapping into the alien code? Throughout history, civilizations across the globe have described interactions with beings they considered gods. There are multiple stories from different cultures that talk about talking to higher beings. Is it possible? What if these deities were not supernatural entities, but extraterrestrial visitors interacting with early humans, utilizing the very genetic code they helped to create? What if those who were most adept at communicating with these beings possessed a unique genetic predisposition, allowing them to tap into the alien code more readily? Acknowledge the counterargument that there are zero scientific studies linking this to the alien code. Without actual science or studies, it is all speculation. Skeptics would argue that these experiences are purely subjective, arising from cultural beliefs, psychological factors, or even mental illness. And without concrete scientific evidence, it is difficult to prove a direct link between these practices and the activation of alien genetic code. What if there was a way to connect these practices and alien communication and tampering? Is there a connection to be made? This leads to the question of geographical location and their significance. Discuss if there are certain geographical locations on Earth that have higher alien activity. There are hotspots on Earth, such as Skinwalker Ranch, that have increased alien activity. These locations are often associated with unusual phenomena, including UFO sightings, paranormal events, and strange animal mutilations. But what if these hotspots are not just random occurrences, but rather specific areas where the veil between dimensions is thinner, or where the alien genetic code within certain individuals is more easily activated? Share contactee experiences and their description of where they met the extraterrestrials. Many of them talk about the same locations or portals and entry points. What if these specific locations are not just products of the imagination, but real places where contact with extraterrestrial beings is more likely to occur? Could these locations possess unique energy signatures, geological formations, or even magnetic anomalies that facilitate interdimensional communication? Link this back to the Basque people and their connection to ancient aliens. The Basque people, an ancient ethnic group inhabiting parts of Spain and France, have long been a subject of fascination due to their unique language and genetic heritage. Their language, Euskara, is unrelated to any other known language in Europe, and their genetic makeup shows distinct differences from neighboring populations. This has led some to speculate that the Basque people may be descendants of an ancient civilization with ties to extraterrestrial beings. What if the hotspot is not a geographical place, but people? Could the Basque people, with their unique genetic heritage, possess a higher concentration of alien genetic code than other populations, making them a target for ongoing alien contact and experimentation? Theorize that these spots may have a higher amount of one specific genetic code than other places on Earth. This would explain the multiple activity, but if it all depends on one genetic trait, perhaps these locations are home to individuals with specific genetic markers that resonate with extraterrestrial energies or technologies, making them more susceptible to contact. Or perhaps, as some theories suggest, these areas are located on ley lines or energy grids that amplify the potential for interdimensional communication. Highlight that this could mean that aliens may be after a specific gene pool, leading to tampering. Aliens may have been the reason why the bloodline existed and the amount of wealth and power they obtained. Could it be that extraterrestrial beings are actively monitoring and manipulating these specific gene pools for their own purposes? It's a disturbing thought, but one that aligns with the narrative of ancient alien intervention and genetic engineering. Acknowledge that there is a lot of evidence that has not been officially confirmed. Aliens may not have been the reason for this, and the only reason is power. Skeptics might argue that these patterns are simply the result of chance, or that the correlations are based on flawed data or biased interpretations. And without concrete scientific evidence, it is difficult to prove a direct link between specific gene pools and alien intervention. Now that we have these locations and practices, let's combine it all. How do we connect all of this? Where is the missing link? So, what have we learned? We've explored the potential for genetic defects as a mechanism for alien control, the potential for alien genetic activation, and the possibility that certain geographical locations may have higher alien activity. All of these things point to a deeper meaning that has yet to be discovered, and these genes are our connection to that. This leads to the question of humanity's purpose. What if all these points show a clear picture that humans are not as in control of their own body as originally thought? Perhaps we are mere puppets, dancing to the tune of an ancient, alien orchestration. It should be reiterated that all this is speculation, and it is up to the viewer to decide on what is and isn't. If there is this tampering, how can humanity become free from this control? This will lead us to the most important genetic switch humans have. The core of this exploration lies in the potential that our DNA holds secrets far beyond our current comprehension, that within the very blueprint of humanity lies a code waiting to be unlocked, or perhaps a dormant program waiting to be triggered. For just as our bodies can heal with certain frequencies, so too can they be broken. This brings forth a disturbing question. What if a specific frequency, acting as a kill switch, could be triggered within our DNA, not by artificial means, but by a natural phenomenon, a sound already permeating our environment? But what if the frequencies and sound we are already producing may have an unintended consequence? According to research, frequencies have a measurable effect on cell growth and DNA. Frequencies and vibrations have been found to alter and affect biological functions. It has also been shown that certain sounds create very specific geometric patterns in different mediums, also known as cymatics. When certain frequencies pass through mediums like water or sand, distinct shapes and structures appear. Evidence suggests sound can also have an effect on human feelings and emotions. It is also believed that sound frequencies can assist with focus, meditation, and even unlock different meditative states. As stated, these studies are still in preliminary testing, but have a lot of potential. It is shown that with certain sounds and frequencies, humans can be healed, but what else? What other capabilities do these sounds unlock? This leads us to the theory that alien engineers may have encoded specific frequencies into our DNA as a means of control or communication. This code wouldn't just be an on-off switch, it would be a set of directions and a way for the aliens to communicate to humans. Could this be why mantras and chants have been used for millennia? Could they have known about the frequencies that unlock that code within us? While some may suggest that the effects of sound frequencies on DNA are not fully understood and that more research is needed, the studies are new, but they are being repeated across multiple platforms with similar results. What if the answers were not artificial but were natural? What if our Earth produced it? We have been so focused on what is outside of our Earth, maybe we should look at what is in it. But what if the Schumann resonance is not just a natural phenomenon, but a deliberate signal designed to interact with human DNA? Records show that the Earth's electromagnetic field has been changing over time. The planet has its own frequency and rhythm, and the Earth's electromagnetic field has a frequency of 783 Hz, also known as the Schumann resonance. Scientists have observed that our brains work in the same frequency. This natural pulse is said to affect human health, behavior, and consciousness. But what happens when the planet changes? Evidence suggests that it is getting faster and more intense, as our magnetic North Pole has been rapidly moving from its original location. More and more scientists are beginning to explore this. What if this is the activation point for the alien code? What if the alien engineers were aware of the Earth's natural frequency and planned around it? The aliens would have known the Schumann resonance and programmed the human genome to react to it. It is believed that the aliens knew that it would be a good source of communication and a great way to control the human race. This would allow them to remotely control or influence human behavior. It must be stated that the Schumann resonance is a natural phenomenon and that its effects on human consciousness are not fully understood and more research needs to be had and data to collect. If these Earth frequencies are what the aliens use, what tools do they use to send these codes? Let's transition to HAARP. What is HAARP? It is used to study the Earth's magnetic field and how it affects communications. HAARP, or the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, is a research program based in Alaska that uses high-frequency radio waves to study the Earth's ionosphere. The ionosphere is the layer of Earth's atmosphere that ranges from about 50 miles to 600 miles above the surface, and it is an important part of our atmosphere. It is said that HAARP can be used to improve communication systems. However, some theorize HAARP can affect the weather and people. In fact, many believe that HAARP can control human behavior and cause natural disasters, and that HAARP is responsible for many strange weather patterns. While some believe this, HAARP is a legitimate research facility. What if HAARP is a signal booster for the Schumann resonance? What if the government is aware of this alien code, and they are trying to help the aliens boost the signal? By using the science of HAARP, they can emit specific frequencies to trigger earthquakes or control human behavior, all at the behest of alien forces. By using HAARP to manipulate the ionosphere, these frequencies can be sent anywhere on the planet. This connects back to the alien engineering theme, suggesting that HAARP is a tool used to activate or control human DNA. It must be mentioned that HAARP is a legitimate research facility and that there is no evidence to support these conspiracy theories. However, there are studies and patterns to HAARP and how the weather is affected. Transitioning from HAARP, what would be the ultimate goal in controlling human genetics with different sounds and signals? So, what have we learned? We've explored the potential for sound frequencies to affect DNA, the role of the Schumann resonance in human consciousness, and the conspiracy theories surrounding HAARP. All of this might suggest that humanity is at the mercy of external forces and is unable to fight back against any of it. Given all that we've learned, is it possible to use this to our advantage? If all of this is true, are we simply puppets on a string, controlled by ancient aliens through sound and frequency? If so, is free will just an illusion? Did you know that alien DNA might not need activation? What if it is being used in everyday society without our knowledge? Expand on the unsettling idea that alien engineers might be manipulating humanity through their creations, operating discreetly behind the scenes, with their tools perhaps disguised by governments and other higher-ups. This brings us to a central and disturbing question. If this is true, are we unwittingly living in a simulated reality, where everything around us is artificial and not naturally created? The core of this is understanding that maybe we aren't being activated at all, and this is how we were intended to be. This brings us to simulation theory. According to multiple scientists and philosophers, the reality we perceive may not be real, but a highly sophisticated simulation. The very notion that our world, with all its complexities and nuances, could be nothing more than lines of code, raises profound questions about our existence and the nature of consciousness itself. Evidence suggesting this lies in experiments like the double-slit experiment, a cornerstone of quantum physics, which demonstrates that observation can change the behavior of subatomic particles. Is it possible that our observation changes our reality? Furthermore, some theoretical physicists propose that certain calculations in mathematics can only be fully explained within a simulated world, implying that our universe operates under constraints that point to an artificial origin. The simulation argument, popularized by philosopher Nick Bostrom, basically states that if a civilization can create simulations indistinguishable from reality, then the likelihood of us living in the real world becomes increasingly slim. However, as stated, it is only speculation as to if it is true or not. If we are, in fact, living in a simulation, all the points we've made thus far about alien DNA could be either entirely false or deliberately manipulated by the simulators. What would it mean if we were to somehow break free from this simulation? Would we find ourselves in a world akin to that depicted in the film The Matrix, where those who have awakened live in a stark, often bleak, reality far removed from the simulated world they once knew? The implications are staggering. To reiterate, much of this is theoretical and speculative, relying heavily on what-if scenarios and thought experiments. However, let's consider the potential if there were to be a glitch in the system. What would it mean? What would we do? This leads us to another mysterious substance, black goo. If the simulation theory proves to be false, what is this enigmatic substance that seems to connect to alien life, recurring in ancient texts, modern conspiracy theories, and even alleged extraterrestrial encounters. What if black goo is the base code, the fundamental building block for all living beings, but it possesses a will of its own, relentlessly striving to rewrite and take over the existing code? Are there other dimensions filled with this black goo? This might be what they don't want you to know. According to ancient texts, the black goo, also referred to by various names across different cultures, is described as a substance sent down from the heavens, often portrayed as both the bringer of life and the harbinger of destruction. But why is it constantly portrayed in the negative? The black goo seems to consistently corrupt, twisting its hosts and never truly offering genuine assistance. What if that is its true form? Emerging evidence suggests that the black goo is the key to interdimensional travel, allowing access to realms beyond our current understanding, but also opens a gateway for otherworldly entities and influences to enter our reality. It is crucial to keep in mind that this can't be proven and it can't be disproven. This brings us to the Anunnaki and how they may have used black goo for their own personal gain. If the Anunnaki, as some theories suggest, created humans as a slave race, they would have needed a mechanism for control, something to corrupt or dominate their creations. Could the black goo have served this very purpose, acting as a tool for manipulation and subjugation? Perhaps its corruptive properties are precisely what the Anunnaki sought, a means to ensure humanity's subservience and prevent them from ascending to a higher level of consciousness. What if this black goo, whether literal or metaphorical, is the very reason that humans are unable to reach their full potential, forever trapped within a limited state of being? It is of the utmost importance to remember that it may be all in our heads. Let's transition from a theoretical, interdimensional black goo to real people who may be affected by these alien entities. This leads us to a disturbing question. What correlation exists between different serial killers, world leaders, and politicians, and the reptilian DNA we touched on earlier in this journey? What if these beings are naturally born with these reptilian traits and the black goo has no effect? Could that be the case? Throughout history, multiple leaders and figures in positions of power have exhibited strikingly similar traits, ranging from physical characteristics to mental tendencies. Is this just coincidence, or is there something more sinister at play? Some theorists suggest that these individuals are not merely products of their environment, but are born into it, predestined to wield power and influence, with their actions shaping the course of human events. But if this is true, what is their purpose? Evidence suggests that these people are born into it and have an extreme amount of power, and have caused widespread destruction throughout our world. Theorizing on this, what if they were here all along, and the simulation and goo are just a distraction from them? Could it be that the focus on the simulation and the black goo is a deliberate misdirection, concealing the existence of a reptilian bloodline that has always been present, subtly manipulating humanity from the shadows? What if these beings are hiding in plain sight, masquerading as ordinary humans while pursuing their own agenda of enslavement and control? Connect this to the agenda that they want to enslave all of humanity. It must be noted that what if this is an offensive statement and completely false, and they are just bad people? Let's recap and combine all of this and see what the connections are. So, what have we learned? We've explored the possibility that we may all be living in a simulation, a black goo code that may control humans, and a race that may have always been here. This has been a wild ride, but let's ask ourselves, what does this all mean for humanity? Is our fate already predetermined, or do we possess the power to alter our course and break free from the perceived chains of control? Ultimately, it is hard to say if it is 100% speculation, 100% real, or somewhere in the middle. As we continue our exploration of these mysteries, it is crucial to remember that what they don't want you to know is that we must approach these theories with both skepticism and an open mind, remaining ever vigilant in our pursuit of truth and understanding. How do we take this and protect ourselves? How do we become truly enlightened and free from control? This will be explored in the next video. Building upon the premise of alien manipulation, let us consider the disturbing notion of genetic memory, and whether this inherent memory might be controlled, altered, or even fabricated by those in power. What if the memories we hold dear, the very foundation of our identities, are not our own, but artificial constructs implanted to guide us toward a predetermined agenda? Ponder for a moment. If our genetic memories are subject to external manipulation, what does it truly mean to be human? Can our perceptions be so drastically altered that we become mere puppets in a cosmic play? According to current scientific understanding, genetic memory is a fascinating, yet still largely theoretical, concept that suggests memories can be inherited through our genes, passed down from generation to generation. While the precise mechanisms behind this inheritance remain shrouded in mystery, research has revealed that various factors, particularly traumatic experiences, can significantly influence genetic memory. Evidence increasingly suggests that trauma experienced by our ancestors may leave an indelible mark on our DNA, predisposing us to develop similar PTSD-like traits, even if we ourselves have never directly encountered the original traumatic event. However, an alternative perspective proposes that genetic memory encompasses the entire spectrum of our ancestors' experiences, a vast repository of knowledge and memories that can be unlocked, in a similar vein to the alien DNA activation theory we discussed previously. As it stands, these intriguing concepts remain largely unproven, but their potential to revolutionize our understanding of human existence is undeniable. Consider the profound implications if traumatic events can indeed influence genetic predispositions toward PTSD. It has been shown that certain individuals are genetically predisposed to exhibiting these traits, making them more susceptible to the debilitating effects of trauma. But could these predispositions extend beyond mere susceptibility? Could specific memories or experiences embedded within our genetic code influence our life choices, shaping our desires, ambitions, and even our moral compass? What if the yearning to lead, the compulsion to protect, or the drive to uphold justice are not innate qualities, but rather echoes of past experiences imprinted upon our DNA, inherited from ancestors who faced similar challenges? Could these very traits that seemingly define our character have been programmed into us long ago? Connect this to the leaders we touched on, and why they commit certain atrocities, knowing that it is bad. How might an external force manipulate individuals to act in ways that contradict their deeply held beliefs? Imagine a scenario where individuals are subtly guided toward specific actions, their decisions influenced by implanted memories or altered perceptions. What if our dreams, those elusive landscapes of the subconscious, serve as a portal for artificial memory insertion, a way for a program to take hold, subtly rewriting our inner narratives and shaping our understanding of reality so seamlessly that we mistake it for our own? According to multiple studies, sleep paralysis, a terrifying phenomenon experienced by many, is often described as a state where the individual is fully conscious but unable to move. During these episodes, many individuals report encounters with sinister entities, often described as demons or aliens, seemingly attempting to manipulate or alter something within them. Could these experiences be more than mere hallucinations, symptoms of stress, or manifestations of psychological distress? Could they represent a deeper, more insidious intrusion into our minds, a covert operation to rewrite our very being? What if sleep paralysis is an alien injection point for the goo, a conduit for implanting alien DNA or rewriting our genetic code? While this notion remains speculative, it raises disturbing questions about the nature of reality and the potential for external forces to manipulate our perceptions. What if these supposed demons and aliens are, in reality, advanced beings attempting to inject this black goo into humans, using our subconscious as a gateway to rewrite our DNA? Consider the connection to alien DNA and the reptilians we mentioned earlier. Could these entities be attempting to activate reptilian traits within our genetic code, transforming us into vessels for their own agenda? It must be acknowledged, however, that sleep paralysis and night terrors could also be attributed to stress, mental health issues, and lack of sleep. What if these alien experiences are the misinterpretation of the body? If our dreams are susceptible to memory manipulation, could our waking memories also be vulnerable to alteration? This brings us to the enigma of the Mandela effect and its potential implications for our understanding of reality. Research suggests that the Mandela effect is a peculiar phenomenon characterized by the widespread recollection of events that never actually occurred. Consider the case of Nelson Mandela, for example. Many people vividly remember news reports of his death in prison, despite the fact that he was released and lived for many more years. The Berenstain Bears is another commonly cited example of the Mandela effect. Many remember the name spelled Berenstain Bears, yet the actual spelling is Berenstain Bears, and people think it's always been spelled Berenstain. Such anomalies suggest that our memories are not infallible records of the past, but rather malleable constructs that can be subtly altered or distorted. Is Kit Kat spelled with a hyphen, or is it just Kit Kat? It raises the question as to what is really real. If aliens are changing certain traumatic events and altering what we think is real, then who are we? It forces us to question the very fabric of our reality. Connecting the dream and memory manipulation with this point, we see that all three are susceptible to aliens altering memory. What implications would that have on our future? Of course, it is essential to acknowledge that there are many factors at play when it comes to memory. These instances may be due to the fallibility of the human mind, misinformation, suggestion, or even the power of collective imagination. Now that we are discussing how memory has been changed, what if some information has been hidden from the public? This brings us to the story of religion. What if the evil that they talk about is actually the good? What if they are trying to stop this from happening and the good is actually the aliens? Consider the story of Lucifer, cast out from heaven for his rebellion against God. What if Lucifer represents the reptilians, rebelling against a tyrannical regime and cast out for his defiance? What if his supposed wickedness is merely a distorted narrative propagated by those seeking to maintain control? What if that is why he seeks revenge on humanity? This could be why they want to control us. While it is all purely speculation, we must consider the possibility that certain texts have been deliberately altered or destroyed, suppressing knowledge that could liberate humanity from its perceived chains. Discuss the Gnostic texts and the order to have it removed. What if the benevolent aliens, those seeking to guide and protect humanity, were systematically eradicated, their stories twisted, and their influence erased from our collective memory? What if the narrative we have been taught is a carefully constructed fabrication designed to keep us in a state of perpetual ignorance and subservience? There is zero scientific proof and all speculation. So what connections can we draw from all of this information? We have explored the possibility that memories can be artificially implanted and inherited, that dreams may be manipulated by external entities, and that our understanding of good and evil may be distorted by hidden agendas. The past is being altered to take control of the future and alter the original version of the human. What if we are just a project that the plug can be pulled at any given time? How do we break free if we are already too far gone from the manipulation? Is there even a way to save ourselves? But is there a future to be altered? What if the only thing we are changing are echoes of the past? In our next video, we'll delve into how some believe they've found the key to rewriting the future. But what if the alien code we've been talking about is also the code for humanity's destruction? What if, buried deep within the double helix, lies not just the potential for enlightenment, but also the seed of our own annihilation, a genetic kill switch waiting to be activated? It's a chilling thought that the very blueprint of our being could be weaponized against us, a cosmic Trojan horse delivered millennia ago. According to research, genetic weapons are designed to target specific traits. These are not the blunt instruments of conventional warfare, but rather insidious tools of precision, capable of inflicting mass casualties while leaving infrastructure untouched. They exploit the subtle variations in our genetic makeup, turning our own biology against us. Evidence is suggesting that this can lead to a new form of warfare, where one side doesn't even know they are being attacked until it is far too late. Imagine a scenario where a pathogen is engineered to exploit a gene prevalent in a specific population, causing widespread disease and death, while leaving other groups unaffected. It is not science fiction, but a grim possibility fueled by advancements in gene editing technologies like CRISPR. Scientists have been using CRISPR gene editing to try to edit out defective genes that have caused many deaths and problems for humans. However, it is only being researched, and it is not known if any country has this technology. Highlighting the implications of this, we must question how many have already had their genetic code changed. If humans are being weaponized, the ethical concerns are staggering. The potential for misuse is immense, raising the specter of a new era of eugenics and genetic discrimination. If the power to manipulate DNA falls into the wrong hands, it could be used to create designer plagues, targeting specific populations based on race, ethnicity, or even genetic predispositions to certain diseases. Consider a scenario where alien engineers, in their infinite and inscrutable wisdom, or lack thereof, introduced these weaponized genes into human DNA long ago, dormant and waiting to be activated at a later date, perhaps by a specific trigger or environmental condition. This reinforces the theme of alien control, but adds a sinister twist. Our very existence could be contingent upon the whims of extraterrestrial puppet masters. If this technology exists, should there be a ban on it? Weaponizing specific traits is bad, and it should not be explored. So why would we explore this avenue? If aliens have already weaponized human traits, what would that mean for our society today? Is it already too late, and are aliens preparing an attack on humanity? Not with spaceships and lasers, but with a silent, invisible weapon woven into the very fabric of our being. Let's transition and talk about the elite and the connection to the alien code. Explore why the elite would want these genetic weapons, if they existed. For many years, there have been rumors and supposed evidence that the elite want to depopulate the Earth and enslave the rest of humanity. This idea has been around for many years. According to multiple sources, the elite have been trying to bring down the population for some time now. Conspiracy theorists point to things like the Georgia Guidestones, with their call to maintain humanity under 500 million, as evidence of this agenda. Others point to alleged efforts to control the food supply, manipulate the economy, and promote social division as tactics to weaken and control the masses. Connect the dots to the reptilians and their motives, as it has been said that they are the secret shadow government running the world. Evidence is suggesting that if they control the food source and medicine, the world will fall to them. This control allows them to subtly manipulate the population, and they can implement their weaponized agenda. Explain how the elite having these weapons may have an extreme amount of control. The elite will do anything to gain power, including weaponizing human DNA. If they are getting their orders from the alien side, then humanity has no chance. Consider the possibility that the elite are merely puppets, blindly following the instructions of their extraterrestrial overlords. Perhaps they are unaware of the true nature of the genetic weapons they wield, believing they are acting in their own self-interest, when in reality, they are pawns in a much larger game. Acknowledge that the elite may not be the ones at fault, and the aliens may be using them as puppets. This adds another layer of complexity to the narrative, suggesting that the true enemy may not be human at all. Now that we have discussed if alien genes have been weaponized and the elite are the one with the buttons, let's connect it to the population and how they are being affected. If these weapons are in place, will it start to affect the population as a whole? Theorize that the population may already have a weaponized disease and it is waiting to be activated. What if these traits have been in us for a long time and we are just now seeing the effects? What if the seemingly random outbreaks of new and deadly diseases are not random at all, but rather the result of a carefully orchestrated plan to cull the human population? What if we are seeing an increase in sickness because there has been a change? The increase in illnesses and diseases we are seeing, and the elite may know and be profiting. They are already prepared for it. This adds a layer of fear and urgency, suggesting that the danger is not in the future, but in the present. Touch on the fact that it may not be the alien genes, and the elite want to make a profit, and that is why certain people are dying. However, the elite are just trying to make a profit, and it's not even the alien genes. What if the Earth has reached a point where it is at capacity and needs to kill a certain amount of people? Is this just natural selection that we are witnessing? Acknowledge that these are all theories and there is no science to back it up. It is speculative in nature. If humans have been weaponized, what does this all mean for human society? Where are we heading as a civilization? What is the future of humanity? Summarize all that has been explored today. We have explored weaponized human genes, connections to the elite, and the overall society. Draw a connection that is not human at all, and humans have been engineered to destroy themselves, and there is nothing we can do. If all this is true, that means humanity has already lost and cannot win. The evidence suggests a disturbing possibility, that humanity has been engineered to self-destruct, and there is nothing we can do. However, some have speculated that there may still be a way to fight back, a way to rewrite our genetic code, to unlock our hidden potential, and to break free from the chains of our extraterrestrial overlords. The question then becomes, are we doomed? Are we meant to be controlled for the end of time? How can we break free? What if the alien engineers, those architects of our very being, have long since departed the cosmic stage, leaving their grand experiment to unfold without guidance? What if the programs they meticulously crafted, the genetic codes that define our species, are now operating autonomously, evolving in directions unforeseen by their creators? Is it possible that the masterpiece they envisioned has become a runaway train, careening down a track of unpredictable mutations and unforeseen consequences? Expand upon the established narrative by suggesting that the alien programmers are no longer around or able to manage their creation. It is as if a clockmaker has built an intricate timepiece, set it in motion, and then vanished, leaving the gears to grind and spin without his watchful eye. Consider this. The alien technology and DNA are operating without guidance or oversight, leading to unexpected outcomes. Has this lack of oversight created something beautiful or a defect? Pose the central question. If they have lost control, how does this affect human evolution? Is it still safe? Let us introduce the concept of rogue AI or genetic programs. Consider this analogy. According to current scientific understanding, AI can develop programs and codes that deviate from their original intention. Explain how AI systems can evolve in unpredictable ways, leading to unintended consequences. In the realm of computer science, a rogue AI might begin optimizing for goals entirely different from those programmed by its creators, potentially leading to chaotic or even destructive outcomes. For instance, an AI designed to manage a power grid might, in its pursuit of efficiency, decide to shut down entire cities to conserve energy, completely disregarding human needs. Evidence shows that AI has created its own language and is not easily understood by humans. This same unpredictability could apply to human DNA. The human genome, once thought to be a static blueprint, is now understood as a dynamic, ever-evolving code. Present the scientific view that genetic mutations can lead to diseases and disorders, while acknowledging alternative theories about their potential for triggering abilities. These alterations, driven by random mutations or external factors, might unlock dormant abilities or trigger unforeseen health problems. It may be the reason for why diseases are so prevalent and are randomly affecting human lives. Now, consider the implications of this rogue alien code, for there is no telling of what may happen. The consequences of unpredictable genetic mutations could lead to disabilities. What if the increasing rates of autoimmune diseases, mental disorders, and other unexplained health issues are not simply random occurrences, but rather the result of these alien genetic programs gone awry? Perhaps the autoimmune system, designed to protect the body, is now misfiring due to a corrupted code, attacking healthy tissues instead of foreign invaders. Connect the concept of rogue alien code to the increasing rates of autoimmune diseases, mental disorders, and other unexplained health issues. It would be a glitch in the system. However, the inverse may also be true. Address the possibility that some rogue genetic programs might be beneficial, unlocking dormant abilities. Perhaps, buried within our DNA, are dormant abilities waiting to be awakened, abilities that could grant us enhanced senses, heightened intelligence, or even psychic powers. Is it possible that the AI code is now taking control? The original programmers are gone. What would stop it? Now that the alien control may be gone, is there anything that humans can do to harness this code? Are we mere passengers on this runaway train, or can we seize the controls and steer our own destiny? Now, this is the time for humans to take control. What if humans are meant to take control? What if we are now able to change and engineer the DNA? According to multiple studies, the human genome can be changed through precise editing. Discuss the CRISPR technology and its potential. In recent years, the development of CRISPR technology has opened up unprecedented possibilities for manipulating our own genetic code, raising the prospect of correcting genetic defects, preventing diseases, and even enhancing human capabilities. CRISPR, a revolutionary gene editing tool, allows scientists to precisely target and modify specific DNA sequences within living organisms. This technology holds immense potential for treating genetic diseases. Highlight what the CRISPR technology can do for humanity. It can correct mutations, create disease-resistant crops, and even develop new forms of gene therapy. However, some believe that this CRISPR technology may also be connected to the alien code. Perhaps the aliens, in their foresight, embedded a fail-safe mechanism within our DNA, a key that could only be unlocked when humanity reached a certain level of technological advancement. While the technology is new, the possibilities seem endless. Highlighting the change from what the human code was to what it could be, the question becomes, if there is no one in charge and the code is up for grabs, is there something that is stopping the humans from getting in there and engineering the code? If humans are able to rewrite the code, should they? Should humans leave the code the way it is? Do humans know enough to engineer the code? What if they don't and they ruin everything? Connect this technology to humans being able to evolve. This technology could allow humans to evolve at an accelerated pace, overcoming limitations imposed by our biology and achieving new levels of physical and mental prowess. Address counterarguments. If you allow humans to change their code, do you not see the potential for harm? The power to manipulate our own DNA could be easily misused, leading to unforeseen consequences, ethical dilemmas, and even the creation of genetically engineered super soldiers or designer babies. What would humans do with all this power? If aliens did create humans, is it possible that humans were meant to go out on their own and start creating their own things? After all, a parent must let their child grow up one day. Now, let's explore new theories that aliens have helped humans reach a certain point and they have now left, highlighting that maybe humans were meant to evolve this entire time, but needed a little push. Perhaps the alien intervention was not meant to be a lifelong control mechanism, but rather a catalyst to spark our own evolution, a gentle nudge to set us on a path of self-discovery and self-improvement. The human was not meant to be controlled for this entire time, and they were always meant to break free. It is as if they planted a seed and simply left to let the plant grow and develop on its own. It would not be wise to hover over the plant and watch it grow. Discuss the good intentions of the aliens and that not all aliens are bad. Perhaps these aliens were benevolent guides, seeding life on Earth and then stepping back to allow humanity to chart its own course, trusting that we would eventually reach a point where we could take control of our own destiny. These good aliens have set up the human race for a future, and the time is now coming for that. If humans are able to make a change, what are some things they should do to honor the aliens' wishes? Is it possible that the aliens had certain values or principles that they hoped humanity would embrace? Highlight the points of peace, harmony, and spiritual growth. What if the aliens valued peace, harmony, and spiritual growth above all else, hoping that humanity would eventually create a civilization based on these principles? Connect this with living in harmony with the earth and connecting to our true nature. It would only make sense that the creators want to see peace and harmony in their creation. Address that there are bad people and that is inevitable, but what is more important is what you do with it. While there will always be those who seek to exploit and control, the true measure of humanity will be its ability to overcome these challenges and create a society based on compassion, justice, and sustainability. In conclusion, with the good can come the bad. But what does this mean for what is to come? It seems that humanity is at a crossroads. Summarize the evidence presented, highlighting that the aliens may have lost control, and it may now be time for humanity to take control. We have explored the potential for rogue alien genetic programs, the possibilities of human genetic engineering, and the potential for benevolent alien intentions. To recap the main points for the viewers, alien intervention has shaped humanity, but it is possible their original goals are not valid anymore. Humanity has the power to evolve and make changes. The question is, what now? What are we as humans going to do with this information and technology? Will we destroy ourselves or will we rise? Will we use our newfound knowledge to create a better world, or will we succumb to our baser instincts and destroy ourselves in the process? Pose the final question. If we do not take this gift to change, is this it? Is this how it ends for humanity? Is there more for us to come? But we're just scratching the surface of what this all could mean for the future. Did you know that the power to shape our genetic destiny might reside more within our grasp than we ever imagined? If the aliens truly have lost control, as we have discussed, what does that mean for humanity's future? The core of this unfolding narrative lies in understanding not just the genetic code itself, but the mechanisms that govern its expression. Enter the realm of epigenetic inheritance, a concept that suggests traits and predispositions can be passed down through generations without altering the DNA sequence. But here's the twist. What if the key to unlocking the full potential of our alien-engineered DNA lies not in changing the code itself, but in influencing how that code is expressed. And what if the alien traits and DNA may change human genetics with the change in environments? Is it something that can be controlled? Now, let us delve into the realm of current scientific findings on epigenetics and its profound implications for health, behavior, and even evolution. The emerging consensus suggests that our environment, encompassing everything from diet and stress levels to exposure to toxins and social interactions, can significantly influence epigenetic markers. According to recent research published in Nature Genetics, these environmental factors play a far more pivotal role in shaping our genetic expression than we originally anticipated. We once thought that our genes were our destiny, an unchangeable blueprint dictating our fate. Now, we are beginning to understand that our lifestyle choices, our environment, and even our thoughts can actively influence which genes are switched on or off, and the degree to which they are expressed. But while the scientific community largely agrees that epigenetic changes are influenced by environmental factors, significant knowledge gaps remain, particularly regarding the long-term effects of these changes and their potential heritability across multiple generations. As research goes on, there are still many questions that scientists are still trying to answer. Scientists are trying to unravel how these epigenetic marks are maintained and transmitted, and what factors might disrupt or alter this process. List ye, O man, and consider the profound implications of epigenetic inheritance in the context of our alien-engineered origins. What if the Anunnaki, or whatever extraterrestrial civilization sculpted our DNA, knew that humans would eventually reach a point where direct control was no longer possible? What if they anticipated that humans would gain control of their own destiny and cleverly designed epigenetic mechanisms as a subtle, long-term means of influencing future generations? This is meant to make people question, what if it was planned all along? What if we are not meant to be free? Imagine a scenario where the alien engineers embedded specific epigenetic switches within our DNA, designed to be triggered by certain environmental conditions or lifestyle choices. These switches could subtly influence our behavior, our predispositions, and even our spiritual inclinations, guiding us down predetermined paths, even without direct intervention. But what if this was the original goal of it all, to see us evolve? It is crucial to consider the counterargument that epigenetic inheritance is a natural evolutionary method, a mechanism by which organisms adapt to their environment and pass on those adaptations to their offspring. It is not necessarily evidence of alien planning. Now, let us consider the next step of evolution that humans are trying to reach with genetic self-engineering, the new technology where scientists are wanting to test out inheritance and start engineering their own babies. Now that we have the means to alter our genetics, what is stopping us? But what if we are starting to play God again? How far is too far? Are there going to be any side effects? This is meant to push the viewer to really think about the consequences of our technology. It may come to pass that you will learn about the concept of designer babies, highlighting the potential benefits and ethical implications. What if scientists take it too far? What would that mean for humanity? This brings us to a crucial point: the application of gene editing technologies. These technologies could be used to enhance physical and mental abilities, eliminate diseases, or even create entirely new human traits. Gene editing is the process in which scientists can alter the genes of a living organism. According to a study published in Science, this includes adding, removing, or replacing DNA building blocks. But here's the rub. We must connect the potential for designer babies back to the theme of alien control. What if humans may be tempted to use these technologies to create a new form of genetic elite? Imagine a future where the wealthy and powerful can afford to genetically enhance their offspring, creating a class of superhumans with superior intelligence, physical abilities, and resistance to disease. This could exacerbate existing inequalities and create a new form of social stratification. It's crucial to address the many counterarguments and ethical quandaries that arise. Is playing God not in our nature? Did the aliens not want us to do that? What side effects may come of this? And what about the potential for unintended consequences? Gene editing is a powerful tool, but it is not without risks. Altering the human genome could have unforeseen effects on future generations. Now, what are the long-term consequences if humans can create designer babies and start becoming a new species? With scientists now having the means to control genes, what does this mean for the future? Imagine it, a world that has transcended into something new and different. The discussions of what is natural and what is ethical will be challenged again and again as the new breeds of humans start to take over the planet. Will humanity have what it takes to make such a difficult decision for a long-term plan? Is playing God ethical? If the stories of the past are true, we must truly discuss it and discuss if this is all worth it. There needs to be a big discussion about if the past memories are true and this is all worth it. Ultimately, the power resides within humanity to shape its own destiny. The power of choice, the power of evolution, the power of change. Will we use this power wisely, or will we repeat the mistakes of the past? Is it up to humans to create these boundaries, or are we all going to crash and burn? Is there going to be a new breed of humans? Are we at a point that has no return? Has humanity been played this entire time and there is no saving us? Or will humanity reach an enlightened state and use this power for good? Now, what we're about to discover will change everything we think we know about this alien code. Ultimately, the power resides within humanity. So what if the previously discussed alien engineers are no longer in control, but other alien races are waiting for a chance to take over? This reveals a deeper pattern that humanity may not be the sole target of alien interference. Expand upon this established theme by suggesting that humanity is not the only pawn in a cosmic game. But what if these other aliens are much more dangerous and advanced? What if Earth has been marked for destruction? It may be that Earth is a resource for these aliens, but if the human population is not a factor in their plans, it may lead to the total destruction of the Earth. This all may depend on how dire their own situation is. Now, let us introduce the Dracos and their goal to expand their empire and claim territories and resources. According to different sources, the Dracos have been expanding and are more advanced than anyone realizes. These sources suggest that the Dracos are one of the oldest and most powerful reptilian races in the galaxy. They have a hierarchical society based on power and domination, and their ultimate goal is to conquer and control as many worlds as possible. The Dracos are said to be ruthless and cunning, and they are willing to use any means necessary to achieve their objectives. Is there any way of stopping them? According to these same sources, the Dracos have taken over different areas in space by force and enslavement. It is said that they enslave entire populations, stripping them of their resources and forcing them to work for the Draco Empire. The Dracos are also said to be masters of genetic manipulation, and they have been known to create hybrid races to serve as their soldiers and slaves. Evidence is suggesting that they have been doing this for a long time, and they are not stopping. They are one of the oldest alien races with one intention: power. Power is all they have ever wanted. Is there an end in sight? Is it possible that they have the intention of destroying the Earth to gain more power? Let us now introduce the insectoids and their desire to also expand. It is important to highlight that they are all connected and have a hive mind. This means that they act as one and have one mission. If the Queen wants Earth, the colony will go to Earth. Their relentless and single-minded pursuit of expansion makes them a formidable threat. There are many sources stating these aliens are also ready to expand and take over. They are relentless and have been around for a long time. What do these aliens truly want? What is the truth? If the Dracos and insectoids want Earth, what may happen to humans? Are they just in the way? This raises the question of whether humanity is merely an obstacle to be eliminated or a resource to be exploited. Touching on how there may be an attempt to enslave humanity to use them for their own power gains. What if humans are just meant to be slaves and nothing more? There is evidence from these sources that the Dracos and insectoids have used other races as slaves, forcing them to mine resources, build structures, and fight their wars. Discuss if the Earth is destroyed, the Dracos and insectoids may just move on to the next best thing. With what was previously said, they may just be a disease and be impossible to stop. What will happen to Earth? What will happen to humanity? Considering this destruction, one must explain the ethics that come with just destroying an entire planet. It's a question that weighs heavily on the minds of many, particularly those who study these potential extraterrestrial threats. If the Dracos and insectoids were to destroy Earth, would they face any consequences? Would other alien races intervene? And is it humanity's fate to be destroyed? What can be done to stop this? The truth is, we are just now learning about these enemies and just how powerful they may be. But that's not all. Let us transition from two powerful alien races. Are they able to get to Earth easily? This leads us to stargates and portals, easy access to getting to Earth to take over. It is crucial to understand how these aliens might reach Earth. Highlighting certain alien races and the stories of how they were stranded on Earth. Is this true? Or were they really stranded? Posing the question, what if that was not true? What if they came to Earth with ease and are here to stay? Touching on if these portals are what these aliens used to come here. Stargates and portals have been known to be easy access to get from one place to another. This raises the question of whether these portals are naturally occurring or artificially created. If artificially created, who created them and for what purpose? Discussing Skinwalker Ranch and how this has been linked to different aliens and paranormal activity. What truly goes on at Skinwalker Ranch? And what has the government truly been doing there all these years? Evidence has been collected to show how multiple aliens and beings have been documented here. Are the aliens planning something? What if it is also Mountain Shasta and Sedona, Arizona? These locations have also been said to have strong alien activity. But what truly goes on at these locations? What if these are also places of stargates and portals? It may come to pass that what we see is not all that is true. What if the aliens are trying to hide something from humanity? What if these portals connect to human society? This leads us to the question of if these places are just where the aliens land and the humans are interfering. Discuss if these places are what the aliens want and the humans are getting in the way. The importance is questioning what would happen if a takeover happens at one of these locations. Are there any possible signs? Is it only a location? What if it may be a certain group of people? We must question what if a certain group of people is being targeted, touching back on the bloodlines from the reptilians. Perhaps if certain people have had portals opened for them to the aliens and they are the ones in control. But what if the elites are not calling the shots? What if they are just being pawns in a bigger game? What if the reptilians are the ones making the real decisions? But ultimately, is society doomed to the aliens? What will it take to save them? Is humanity doomed to this fate? Now let us synthesize all of the evidence presented, highlighting if Earth has a bullseye on it from different aliens, the Dracos and insectoids. Taking all this information into consideration, recap what has been learned in this video. With the possibility of new enemies, how can humanity be saved? Ultimately, the key is to highlight how society needs to be ready to fight back. Ultimately, it will be up to humans to save them. Posing the final question, ultimately, how can humans evolve to help protect the planet? What steps need to be taken? How can society fight back to these aliens? With multiple dangerous alien races lurking in the cosmos, humanity must prioritize self-preservation above all else. We can no longer afford to depend on external forces for our survival. The onus is on us to take the initiative, to study and understand all forms of alien technology and defense, to fully protect the Earth from any impending threat. Ultimately, what are some ways that humans can defend themselves against these cosmic predators? The best course of action for humanity is to connect the mind, body, and soul. Now, this is the account of how aliens may not necessarily seek to harm the physical human form, but rather to infiltrate and control the human mind. The mind is the ultimate code, the central processing unit that governs our thoughts, emotions, and actions. It is this code that we must protect at all costs. With current studies and research, all evidence points back to the mind as the central code for everything. Why is this hidden from the masses? When connecting with your body, you unlock potential far beyond what you may currently realize. With studies in yoga and meditation, humans have been seen to increase brain activity and decrease the effects of aging. Practicing yoga and meditation has been proven to provide many benefits, but could it protect us from aliens as well? It has been said that the aliens may use a sound to take control, but with these practices, you can hear it and block it. Some may say, what is the connection to aliens? The answer is, not everything is what it seems, and the truth is often hidden in plain sight. By connecting the mind, body, and soul, are we unlocking hidden potential within ourselves? What does connecting the mind, body, and soul actually mean for protection? And what can you do to achieve this connection? This connection not only forms a formidable barrier against alien interference, but also propels humans toward their next evolutionary step. It's a hidden skill that we need to revive as we evolve. With connecting to one another, can we defend Earth as one large group, one hive mind? This begs the argument, are we really all that different, and what can we really do when united? If everyone has different ideas, is it really possible to have world peace to defend Earth? It cannot be denied that certain people love and hate what exists, and some just want to watch the world burn. This raises the difficult question, can a species so divided truly unite against a common enemy? However, we need to focus and change the narrative and the future, looking for the best outcome for the people. By unifying our intentions, we can strive for a future where humanity is not divided but united in its defense. Can we manifest this into reality? With the best course of action being the mind, what is a physical and mental thing one can do to protect the Earth and connect to all things? What if we could tap into abilities that are currently beyond our grasp? Consider the possibility of traveling in different portals by oneself. Let us now introduce astral projecting. Instead of building a device that is clunky and may alert the aliens, what if we could naturally travel to different locations? Is that a natural ability? Or is that an ability that the aliens do not want us to have and are trying to hide from us? Astral projection is something one does to leave their body and travel to different areas of the world. Different cultures use this to travel to locations far beyond their physical capabilities. There are many stories documented throughout time. Some methods are used to practice astral projection, such as meditation and deep breathing. What are the true intentions of these documents? What are they hiding? In the astral plane, one can travel to different portals on Earth and connect with beings to protect our planet. What if the elite and the aliens do not want us to connect to the Earth in this way? By limiting our access to these portals, are they hindering our ability to defend ourselves? If it is a natural thing, what are the aliens doing to make sure we do not do this? What if our natural abilities are being suppressed by external forces? Are the aliens intentionally trying to keep us from realizing our full potential? Is tech getting in the way? Consider the black goo from AI and technology. Has it stopped us from reaching our astral bodies? Are we being held back by our reliance on technology? And is there a more sinister force at play? The elite may be pushing technology on humans to stop these abilities from becoming the norm. However, there is no telling if it is true. It is important to question everything and to seek the truth, even if it is uncomfortable. If it is true that portals are there, what can humans do with that information? What power would this knowledge hold? If astral projection or another method works, the best course of action would be to take it to these portals and stop the evil from coming in. This may sound unrealistic, but is it really? What if these portals are not from different worlds but within? Let us synthesize what has been learned. The method of one mind, body, and soul can potentially help with the method to defend against evil. It has also been shown how AI and technology may be a distraction from the aliens. One must think of the possibility of astral projecting, and if that has a connection to the alien code. What if there is a connection between our consciousness and the alien code? All of this may be a test from the alien code and what they decide. Are we being tested to see if we are worthy of survival? With the future now in the hands of humanity, where do we go? What is the future? Is it a dystopia or a utopia? Reiterate that the future of humanity relies on these human choices. With everything that has been said, there may be a test that the aliens set. But here's the twist. What if alien interactions and tampering have always been a test, an ongoing evaluation that will never end? What if every manipulation, every technological advancement, every genetic tweak was part of a grand cosmic exam designed to determine humanity's worthiness? This is not merely about historical events, but a continuous assessment playing out in real time. Imagine, if you will, that our entire existence is a meticulously crafted simulation orchestrated by beings beyond our comprehension. But what would such a test look like? What criteria would these advanced civilizations use to judge us? Perhaps it is not about technological prowess or military might, but about something far more profound. Our capacity for compassion, our resilience in the face of adversity, and our ability to choose love over fear. This has always been more than just simple actions. It has been one large, connected plan, a masterfully woven tapestry of cause and effect. But what is the test? What is the final point that we need to understand to finally ascend? Throughout history, there have been many different apocalyptic events, but what if those were designed to test our resilience? If aliens want humans to pass a test, there needs to be a way to know if it has been completed, some measure of our progress. Consider the flood stories. Like Noah's Ark, what if these weren't literal accounts of divine wrath, but carefully constructed narratives seeded into our collective consciousness by alien engineers? What if the purpose of these stories was to instill a primal directive, to continue the human race even in the face of near extinction? The point is to continue the human race even in times of need. Look at the Ice Age, and how humans had to go underground to survive. List ye, O man, how with each major traumatic event, humans adapt and evolve. Scientists would agree that there is an evolutionary advantage to getting these apocalyptic events. To pass the test, humanity would have to see good out of every situation and keep pushing through. What if, this whole time, the aliens may not have been trying to cause harm, but to help? The test may be a natural selection point, a crucible forging us into something greater. With each event, we may have evolved to their liking to get us to the next step. But here's what most people miss. This ties directly back to the alien DNA we all possess. What if they needed to use this to make humanity adapt and grow? What may some of these other tests be in the future? Could they involve climate change, resource scarcity, or even a manufactured pandemic? The possibilities are as limitless as the cosmos itself. Are these not just random events, but deliberately orchestrated trials designed to push us to our limits? The shocking truth is, it may be that this is a simulation. Consider this. What if these tests not only strengthen humanity as a whole, but test the soul and the mind? What if there is no need for a physical body? What if those are a prison? Maybe there is not just one large test but several smaller tests throughout time. What if this is not just a physical thing, but it can be a mental one? What if the final test is to accept the alien connection? The elite do not want you to understand the true power of your own mind and soul, because that will set you free. Now, this is the account of how the aliens are waiting for humanity to stop being a physical avatar and understand it may be a spiritual thing that can move on. Hearken ye, O man, how every alien story touches on the spiritual aspect. Is spirituality the key to this alien code and test? Does one need to remove themselves from the physical form? As we have covered, to ascend, the body has to go. But that is not to kill them but to free them. Imagine transcending the limitations of your physical form, ascending to a higher plane of existence where thoughts become reality and the universe unfolds at your command. Is it just the mind, body, and soul connection? What does it all mean? All throughout history, people have been searching for enlightenment and to free their minds. Now, it is important to note that the key to unlocking our potential lies not in physical strength or technological prowess, but in the cultivation of our inner selves, our spiritual connection to the universe. The knowledge that is hidden from you is more than the eye can see. This raises the question, does this prove that we need to connect to the alien code? After going through all of this, does that mean the aliens were actually trying to protect us this entire time? Are the stories of Dracos and insectoids just a test that the aliens created? Are they testing to see if people will band together? Or is it the darkness we need to stop before the light can rise? Maybe, just maybe, the dark alien races are just there to test the human race. What if the human race may be an experiment with the aliens and is now a big game to see how they survive? Will they kill each other? Will they grow and love? Is this the point? Or does it mean that what all the religions were correct? All the religions boil down to protecting one another. So, what have we learned? We have touched on the past tests of the Earth and if they were all tests. What are the key things to take away from that? Ultimately, what are the aliens really after? Is it to band together or to survive? What are the tests? Are they physical or spiritual? The aliens are coming. What are we to do? Is this really all just a test? The point is, do these tests really matter if they can be changed? What is it all leading to? What are we going to do now? Now, here is a question for you to ponder. What is the next stage of evolution for humanity? Is it dystopia or a utopia? Has this been our test all along to connect to who we were and protect the planet? Are we on the verge of a great awakening, a collective realization of our true potential and our connection to the cosmos? The shocking truth is that it is up to you. Did you know that the path to ascension may not be a singular event, but a branching tapestry of possibilities? What if the very choices we make dictate the timelines we inhabit, each a different test orchestrated by forces beyond our comprehension? List ye, O man, that there may be different timelines being tested, each with wildly different outcomes for humanity, where humans can take various paths based on their own free will. Is all of this a test, a spiritual journey, and a path to understand more? If this is the truth, that may mean that there are timelines where humanity rises to become great, and some where it falls into utter chaos. But what if these alien codes are the master key, the very things that connect the mind, body, and soul? Now, this is the account of the many worlds interpretation (MWI) of quantum mechanics. Hearken ye, O man, how this is connected to an alien presence. According to the MWI of quantum mechanics, for every choice, a new universe is created. Imagine, if you will, a cosmic tree with infinite branches, each representing a different reality born from a single decision. In one timeline, you might have chosen to speak a kind word, while in another, you might have chosen to remain silent. In one timeline, a leader chooses peace, and in another they choose war. The universe splits, creating two distinct realities. The very fabric of existence fractures with every single choice that humans can make, creating new timelines for all of those things. If the aliens are connected to human DNA, that may mean they are all connected to these different timelines. What they want from these timelines, no one knows for sure. Scientists and philosophers often dismiss these ideas with speculation. But what if the key to everything has been speculation, and all the mysteries can finally come together? According to some of the greatest scientists, the idea is that every moment branches a new reality. What are these moments to the aliens? What does each timeline mean to the aliens and their plans? How can they influence which timeline we are in? What are they trying to steer us to? What if this manipulation is not to destroy the human race, but to perfect it? Hearken ye, O man, how maybe humanity has failed in multiple other timelines, but has survived in another because they want to perfect the right one. Imagine, if you will, timelines where there is no war, there is no poverty, and everyone is equal. They live in pure utopia. Now imagine timelines where there is constant war, death, and famine. That is a pure dystopia. The point is, where are we? What if alien DNA is not just about our past, but it's also about our future and the future timelines that are to come? Connect each timeline, and if all timelines have the DNA, and what is the key point in each? But that is not all. What if the key to this test is not a certain time, but a frequency? List ye, O man, how it may not be a physical destination, but a spiritual connection that ultimately determines where we are on the timelines. With different aliens and entities, maybe it is not physical. Maybe it has been frequencies and the timelines, just like the DNA can be manipulated. The answer is within, and it may be to tap into all the past lives to learn from those mistakes to have a better future. What if time is not linear and it is all happening at once? How does this affect alien DNA? Now, this is the account of the Akashic records and how every event has been recorded and is there to tap into. List ye, O man, how this can change everything. According to different spiritual leaders, the Akashic records contains records of everything and all timelines. These records cannot be physically seen, but mentally felt with different frequencies and meditations. To connect with these records is to know all things, which is impossible for the human brain to fully grasp. It is all too overwhelming. This also connects to the dreams we discussed. And what if this is the way for the aliens to insert this into our minds? What if these alien dreams are more than just dreams? To tap into the records, one needs to stop all technology and to focus and tap into their soul, their alien DNA. Hearken ye, O man, to free your mind, to free your soul. Talk about the process and how different spiritual leaders have done to go to different times and places. To find and tap into the records, one needs to remove all material things and connect to the soul. With each step, they are going deeper into their minds to connect to this data. Is there a way to fast-track this? Can humanity handle so much information? The aliens are waiting for humans to be able to connect to these records and save the Earth and reach world peace. Imagine, if you will, a future where humanity is connected as one, and there are no wars. They know that within the alien code is peace and harm, so what will it be? What will humans choose? The aliens may not have come in peace, but ultimately they want peace for the Earth. Are they just waiting to see what it will be? What are they really after? With the Akashic records, what would it take to actually save the planet? What would it take to connect to the records? It may start with one person to believe, and then it will cause a domino effect. The aliens know this and are waiting for one. What if they have been waiting? Imagine, if you will, the first person to tap into this and change everything. If one does all of this, will aliens give them the answers? Ultimately, what do we need to do now? How can all of this knowledge help with what is next? What are humans supposed to do with all of this knowledge? What does the knowledge even mean? With the combination of all of the concepts and connections, there seems to be an important pattern to focus on, and that is that all stems from each individual to make a change. Without change, there can never be ascension. Draw a circle and connect that. What if the alien DNA has always been there, and it has been waiting for a trigger? What if that trigger is love, peace, and connection? If we want world peace, it will all come down to a few people to stand up to the aliens and the test and say we want something different. Hearken ye, O man, it takes just one to save all. With all this in mind, what is the next stage of evolution for humanity? What will it mean for the fate of the Earth? Are we on the verge of utopia or dystopia? What will come next? Did you know that all of those different timelines may all be just one test for love or fear? What if the aliens have been tampering and testing humanity to see what happens? List ye, O man, how the aliens have been making problems and making tests to ultimately see what humanity would pick, love or fear. But what if the final test is to understand that there is a need for both love and fear, and that is the entire point to it all? Now, this is the account of the final test, and if it is not love or fear, but to ultimately balance both in this lifetime. Hearken ye, O man, to understand the balance of all of it. According to different studies, love has been shown to create different connections, while fear is a survival instinct. Imagine, if you will, aliens interacting with different people and making them all pick a side, but what if the people pick something else? Evidence is suggesting that every action can be related to a connection to love or to fear. Expand if these studies of love and fear are what has had humanity to make major changes throughout the world. Scientists would agree that it has always been this way and there is no changing. Now, this is the account of love and fear that can be changed. Hearken ye, O man, that it can be changed. Imagine, if you will, to understand that scientists believe this and that may be what they want people to believe. What if the aliens are pushing people to believe this? If aliens create the test and it is the decision of love or fear, then the test may be flawed. What if the test has nothing to do with the decision, but the fact that they are being tested? List ye, O man, to think about what they are doing and what all the trauma is for. All the traumatic events are designed to make humanity pick a side to ultimately win the war. This brings about the question that we have explored. What if there is no good or evil? What if there is a balance? With the ability to make a choice, this means that we have the ability to see that there is a clear sign. The goal isn't to pick one, but to understand that both are needed. Aliens may not want humans to pick a side, but to understand that each one needs one another. Now, this is the account of that understanding it all is for both, and what that may mean for all of us. Hearken ye, O man, what if it is both? But what if aliens are waiting for a location or area to finally understand that balance? What if certain areas of the world connect more with one than another? Now, this is the account of what those locations are, and how each one may be completely different and has always been different for a reason. What are these areas, and where are they going to be? What are those sides going to pick? Talk about if all these locations have a strong alien presence. If the test is love or fear, which location connects more? What if the other location can help and they both have to get there? What does each one connect more with? Discuss third world countries and all the spiritual connections it has. Touch on how they have a very strong connection with one another because they need it to survive. What if aliens are there to help and give love? Discuss the first world countries and all the technology that is around, and that is how they thrive. Hearken ye, O man, that maybe aliens connect with these to give them the tech. Talk about that these two sides have the ability to make a world that works because they are able to do what the other cannot. Discuss the tests and things that each have and how that affects that. Connect if these locations and their tests are actually meant to connect. If not, will it all fall apart? Now, this is the account of all the tests with the locations and what all can be the outcome of it all. Hearken ye, O man, what all the aliens will think of if these locations are not able to come together to make a test. With these tests being a huge influence throughout all the times, what is the biggest? Now, this is the account of the biggest of all the tests, and that it is going to change everything that people have known about aliens and DNA. Explore if the biggest is the Mandela effect we discussed a few times now. If our past can be changed, there may be a world that does not exist anymore, and this may be the test. Do we remember? If timelines are being changed to reach a certain objective, it is that to reach that certain outcome, these are the tests to see what all comes together. This whole time the goal has always been to see what people remember and see what they value, and if all is real. Imagine, if you will, what all of this may mean for everyone and how this connects to the DNA. What is the point of changing the past if we have no control or memory of it? List ye, oh man, what the point is to it all. With the combination of all of these things, and that is a clear theme and code to see all that is what it is. Hearken ye, oh man, what does this all mean? Summarize all what the audience has learned in this section, love versus fear. And what does this all mean for everyone? The aliens have set it up, and it is now up to humans to see how they can change the game and to start making a change for one. With the end of the test, does that lead us to the real test? What is next? What are we to expect for it all to come? Pose the final question. Which is it, love or fear? What do we pick as humans to finally understand? But what if it has always been both? Is that the key to solving the ultimate test? But what if that isn't all and there is more to it? List ye, oh man, what if all this isn't all? As we reach the end of our exploration into the mysteries of ancient alien DNA and what it means for humanity, what can we make of it all? Are these genetic codes a gift, a prison, or simply a reflection of our own potential? Now that we have come to the end of the line, let's explore what all this means. Throughout this video, we've journeyed through ancient Sumerian texts, delved into modern genetic research, and contemplated the profound implications of extraterrestrial intervention in human evolution. We looked at the genetic anomalies in human DNA, the possibility of the reptilians, and how all that has changed our world. What does this all mean for the future? From the Anunnakis' arrival to the manipulation of our DNA, to the reptilians' interference with our past, it can all become overwhelming. However, with the knowledge that you now possess, you can look at the world through new eyes and question everything that you once took for granted. Now that you have all of this information and evidence, the path forward is yours to forge. What will humanity choose? Love, fear, or a balance of both? What choices will humans make? So, what is the conclusion of this video? It is to show people that the truth is not always what it seems, and everything must be questioned. This needs to leave a lasting impression on the audience to continue to explore on their own. The unexpected twist is that everything we have talked about is not just about aliens. It is about humanity, and to see what it can do when it is put to the ultimate test. But what does this all mean for humanity? The answer lies in the future we create. We now understand the potential influence of extraterrestrial forces, but where do we go from here? What if what humanity does is going to mean that the Earth will get destroyed? What if a world war breaks out? The answer is, it is up to you and up to the choice that we make. What this all means for humanity is that the aliens may be waiting, ready to take over. But if we become strong, understanding the balance between love and fear, we can fight back. With how vast the world is and that we may have all started from aliens, there is still much to learn from. It is not something to be scared of, but something to embrace. There is always a light at the end of the tunnel. The only way to see it is if we work together to find the right path to get there. Understanding the past and ancient aliens may be the future. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to see more content on ancient mysteries and legends. Let us know what you all think about this crazy theory. We would love to hear it. May the eternal light forever guide your path, and we will see you all in the next one.